All right, I think we're ready to get started here. And can I confirm, Board Member Marsden and Roars, are you online and can hear us?
Yes. Roars, yes, I am.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
And Board Marsden, yes, I can hear you.
Right. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Just make sure you have two phones.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I will now call this meeting to order, April 10th, 2024, and it is 7:04 p.m. I am Vice President Serrano, and I will be chairing this evening's meeting. We do have Board Member Roars and President Marsden online joining us remotely this evening. And we'll get started with our roll call. Mrs. King, please.
Barb?
Here.
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 Member Roars?
Yes, I am here.
Thanks.
Great, thank you, everybody. We'll now have our Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence, please. Thank you. So we'll get started with our routine business this evening. And first off, we have our minutes of the March 27th, 2024 regular board meeting. If I can please entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Vice President Serrano, could I make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 27th, 2024 regular board meeting?
And can we get a second? All right. Everyone, please say aye to approve the minutes of the March 27th regular board meeting as presented.
Aye.
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 Thank you, guys. All right. We have carried the motion. Next, we have business to approve and ratify payroll and accounts payable vouchers. If I can please get a motion.
Vice President Serrano, I'd like to move to approve and ratify payroll and accounts payable vouchers.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
May I please hear an aye for everyone approving to approve and ratify payroll and accounts payable vouchers?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have correspondence with Superintendent Narducci. If we have any to share this evening?
Vice President Serrano, members of the board, there's no correspondence at this time.
All right, we will move right along then to our fun portion of the agenda. This evening, we have the privilege of recognizing our winner team state championships. And we have Mrs. Ingersoll, who will help us welcome our champions.
Thank you, Board Member Serrano. We will begin with Academic Decathlon from Hamilton High School. Academic Decathlon is a comprehensive club that studies and competes in 10 subjects revolving around a different central theme yearly. This year, they studied a theme of technology and humanity in art, literature, music, science, social science, economics, and mathematics, and participated in speech, interview, and essay events. We have the assistant coach, Esther Bastian, to introduce the team and tell us a little bit more about these state champions.
Good evening. As the coaches of the Hamilton High School academic team, we appreciate this opportunity to recognize our outstanding decathletes. The academic decathlon program consists of 10 subjects, 7 objective and 3 subjective events. These students are the reigning Division IV national champions, the Arizona Region 4 champions for the 9th year in a row, and most recently, the Arizona Academic Decathlon State Champion. Our team is comprised of freshmen through seniors, and this group earned a total of 27 individual medals, including outstanding essay and the top scoring student. Please help me to congratulate our team members, Chloe Zahn, Andy Ma, Claire Zahn, Audrey Zhang, Shrija Calavana, Arun Sharabolo, Bruce Shen, T. Nguyen, and Taryn Priest. Thank you.
And Coach, if you could join them for a photo up there as well. And I'd like to add that Chloe Zahn has been accepted at Harvard and MIT in addition to captaining her state champion ACDEC team, amongst many other accolades. And she's about to catch a plane. She has a big event across the country, so congratulate this team again. In Yale. Yes. And now we would like to introduce Perry High School's varsity pom team. They won their 2nd state championship in the jazz division and this past January. They are here to celebrate along with their coaches, Coach Howard and Coach Thomas.
All right, my name is Coach Howard. I'm just so excited that these girls get to be recognized. This is our 2nd state championship in the jazz division. These girls work really hard. Pom as cheer is just not what it was 40, 50 years ago. These are athletes and they are competitive on the field, on the dance floor, and in the classrooms. We're really proud of them. Thank you so much for recognizing them.
All right, another congratulations to our state champions here in CUSD. Next, we do have, we'll be hearing from more students with reports and information. We have student body president reports, and this evening we'll be hearing first from Lily at ACP High School to tell us about our nights.
Yes. Good evening to the governing board, Mr. Narducci, and everyone present tonight, and thank you for having me this evening. If I have yet to have the opportunity to meet you, my name is Lily Pulsfer, and I've had the honor to serve as the student body president at Arizona College Prep High School this year. And for the final time tonight, I get to brag on what I like to think is the best school in the district. Starting off, it's an ACP tradition to recognize National Random Acts of Kindness Week. This year's theme was based off the Disney movie Up with the slogan, Lift Others Up. At ACP, we work hard to truly make an impact on the community and teach our students about the effect that their small positive gestures can have on others. And I think that RAC Week does an amazing job of doing this. If any of you have not seen the movie Up, it is filled with lots of fun and bright colors, which is exactly what our hallways looked like this week. We decorated each hallway with iconic scenes and characters from the movie, and our council even took the time to write positive and encouraging messages on paper balloons that we hung on the walls on campus. We held lunchtime events throughout the week where students could get popcorn or lemonade, write kindness grants to their friends, and play yard games all for free. Next, we hosted our 8th annual Mr. ACP. This event is where 8 guys compete in a male pageant of sorts. There's 4 segments of the show: the lip sync portion, where they can show off some of their stage presence; the talent portion, which included Jerome's outstanding music skills and Colby's amazing artistic gift; the pickup line portion, where the boys got to show off a little bit more of the romantic side; and then finally the interview portion, where we had some very thought-provoking questions for our contestants. This is one of our most fun events, and the crowd really helped to prove that to be true. Senior Colby Patton ended up being crowned our 2024 Mr. ACP. Our student government and link crew recently had the opportunity to learn about leadership and collaborate with other leaders to get new ideas. We went to Disneyland in February and participated in a leadership conference. The council got a behind-the-scenes tour led by a lesson on ways we can better collaborate with and hear our peers. This trip was not only a great learning experience, but a great opportunity to bond our council as well. Overall, the campus culture we have cultivated has made our diverse student body much closer, and I'm just astonished at some of the most recent accomplishments of our students and staff. ACP's DECA competed in the SCDC competition in late February and did an outstanding job. 65 of my fellow Knights went to the state tournament, and 30 of them made it to the finals, with 20 of them qualifying for the nationals competition this month. This means that 30% of our students qualified, ranking us amongst the highest percentage of any school. Our speech and debate team won this year's state championship, bringing home yet another state championship trophy. This will look amazing next to the other 3 state titles we have in our trophy case. In late February, our Spirit line headed out to California to compete at nationals. Our all-girls stunt team qualified for finals and finished in 8th place. I also wanted to take some time to recognize a few clubs who have done exceptional things for our student body. BSU, or Black Student Union, coordinated a Spirit Week and activities for our students to partake in. This was an amazing way for our school to celebrate Black History Month. ACP's Women's Week, also hosted by our Girl Up Club, was in celebration of Women's History Month. This club held a donation drive, a Zoyo ice cream fundraiser, and lunchtime games and movies for our students to participate in. IKF, also known as International Nights Festival, was recently put on by our students and English teacher, Miss Williams, on April 5th. During this annual ACP event, students had the opportunity to show off and teach others about their culture and background. On the Friday of the event, students were encouraged to wear school-appropriate clothing that represented their specific culture to school. We also hosted an IKF fashion show leading up to the event to give the student body a taste of what this night entails. Overall, it was a massive hit and really showed our community how we come together. And lastly, as this is my last time speaking to our governing board, I wanted to give you a little recap of my year and what path I'm choosing to take in the future. I got super involved this year, and I'm not going to lie, picking just a couple pictures to put on the PowerPoint was super difficult. The assemblies I got to MC, the events we put on, the student sections I got to be a part of, it was all truly such a magical senior year. As I look forward into the next 4 years, I'm so excited to announce that I will be attending the University of Arizona, majoring in business with a minor in psychology. Thank you. I wanted to say a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of the work you guys put into making CUSD what it is. This year has truly shown me just how much it truly takes to do what you do. Thank you for leading our district and creating something so special to be a part of. After 11 years of growing up in CUSD, I'm sad to admit that this chapter is closing. It has been an amazing experience, but I'm so excited for what's next. Thank you for this opportunity. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lily. Next, we have Ava from Basha High to share on what our Bears have been up to. Here we go.
She is always so hard to follow. Okay. Good evening, board members and Mr. Narducci, and thank you for listening to me tonight. First off, we have our spring sports, and they have had an amazing season this year. Our softball team is currently ranked #1 in the region for the 6A division, with our baseball team following shortly behind, ranking #2. Our track team has set new PRs and time in their most recent race that they had. Our unified basketball team has just begun their season this year with their first game last night. We also have boys and girls tennis who are dominating their season and actually had their senior night tonight as well. Boys volleyball with a current stat of 10-2, and beach volleyball who are 1-6. Next up, on March 8th, we had our art assembly to celebrate all the fine arts at Basha High School. We started our assembly with our JROTC and the presentation of colors. It was followed up by our dance team, who surprised us all with a flash mob. Next, we had a monologue, and that was perfect by 2 of our theater students, followed by an amazing performance by Basha Counterpoint. Last but certainly not least, we had the chance to watch an astounding performance from our symphonic orchestra, and being able to celebrate all of our Basha art programs was such an amazing experience. On March 6th, we had our 3rd annual Mr. BHS event. We had participants from soccer, football, unified sports, student government, link crew, sports medicine, ITS, living unified, culinary, and academic decathlon. They performed a quick strut down the walkway to introduce themselves, which was followed up by some questions. For the questions, our announcers made their way to the crowd to make some fan interaction. Then we had a range of performances, from A Friend Like Me from Aladdin to a performance from the Cat in the Hat himself. Our winner was Braden Privet as Mr. Unified. This year, we are having our 3rd annual Jackson Landfair Week. Jackson was a Basha Bear who was diagnosed with leukemia his junior year. Through his treatments, he never lost a smile and even came up with 3 statements that he would live by. When given his Make-A-Wish, he wanted to use it to make a scholarship for students who wanted to go into law enforcement. Unfortunately, Jackson passed in September of his senior year. After passing, his family started the Jackson Landfair Foundation to help keep his wish alive. Through the years, his family has continued to carry on his legacy of the scholarship, so every year we hold a fundraising week to help with his scholarship. On April 11th through the 13th, our theater students are hosting on a play called Murder on the 518. These students will take us through a series of events that have happened after a disappearance while on the train. The suspenseful play will leave the audience members on their edge of their seats as they try to figure out who done it. Tickets are $7, so I encourage you all to come see the amazing performance by our outstanding actors. On April 26th, we'll be hosting our spring sports assembly to celebrate all the amazing sports throughout this last quarter. We have student athletes participating in assembly games, along with a very cool walkout song for teams to participate in. There will be games such as Hungry Hippo, Tug of War, and Pie in the Face, where all student athletes will participate in. This assembly's purpose is to give recognition to our sports as they play throughout the season. For the last quarter of school, our unified team sport is basketball. They have 2 home games this season, and we will be attending both. The themes for the games will be Blackout and Hawaiian, with a post being made for every single game to support. Last night, we actually had a game against Queen Creek, and even though we lost, our Bears played an amazing game, and it was awesome being able to watch them. Next, we have our senior sunset, and it's going to be on May 17th at our football field. With our seniors coming together one more time before graduation night, it will certainly be unforgettable. There will be a food truck there for everyone to enjoy as we spend a night together. We will have a sign for all the seniors to sign to be hung up on graduation day. We will also encourage people to bring games that can be played on the field as well as watch the sunset of our final day of high school. Throughout students' 4 years at Basha High School, we all have worked on a project that is aimed towards fundraising and or raising awareness. This is a research project that also included acts of service to help better our community in any way. Each student is allowed to choose what they want to focus their project on, which allows students to be more connected to their cause. After 3 years of research and putting it into action our senior year, all seniors have the choice of displaying their acts of service to the community in hopes to inspire others. Our Basha Gives Back showcase takes place at Basha High School, and I encourage you all to be there to see what the students have worked on for the last 4 years. And on May 11th, we have prom this year. The prom theme recently got announced as the Masquerade Ball and is taking place at the Ashley Castle. We will have a DJ inside bumping some jams along with an electric violinist outside. Our theme is focused around the decor of the castle. Overall, it's going to be an amazing dance with everyone who is there. Last but not least, I want to give my appreciation to Mr. Narducci and all the board members here who I've had the honor of presenting to this last year. I also want to give a special thank you to my advisors, Mrs. Campbell and Miss Prue, who have worked with us for the last 4 years to make a truly enjoyable high school experience. Sorry guys, I'm so tearing up. And last but certainly not least, a huge appreciation to all the administrators at Basha High School who have supported all the things we have wanted to accomplish this last year. We couldn't have done it without you. It has been an honor to be here with you all. Thank you very much.
Great job, ladies. You have me in my feelings. Last presentation, last day of high school. Thank you so much for spending your time and energy with your leadership. And don't forget that you always have a home here in CUSD. Next, we will turn to our superintendent's current events.
Vice President Serrano, members of the board, I have a quick update for you this evening. Prior to spring break, we've been communicating out our teen violence progressions that we've put in and the immediate resolves that we've placed. But we have a teen violence advisory board that I want to remind people that we're accepting applications for. You can locate the application on the homepage of the district website or the homepage of any school website. The application is in English and Spanish, and applications will be accepted through April 15th. With graduation of our seniors just a month away, it's hard to believe. Chandler School Boosters is hosting workshops led by a local law firm designed to help parents prepare certain legal documents that their children could need when and if they move away from home. There's a fee for the preparation, but a portion of the proceeds go back to the Chandler School Boosters, which helps our boosters and PTOs at all of our school sites. If you have a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old, and you're in the audience especially too, and they are ready for early learning, now is a great time to register for kindergarten. In CUSD, we have a wide variety of kinder choices, including accelerated and dual language immersion programs. For families who have children turning 5 after our cutoff, so between September 1st and December 31st of this year, you may consider participating in our testing sessions to assess child readiness for early entrance into kindergarten. We want their entrance into kindergarten as a portal to be successful for them. All the information can be found on our website. The CUSD Annual Art Showcase opens April 17th at the Chandler Center for the Arts. This free event highlights the talent and creativity of CUSD students, artists, and the arts in CUSD is second to none. Take a quick look at this highlight reel of arts in our district. I would encourage everybody, if you have the time, to get to the Chandler Center for the Arts art gallery there, where that event will take place. Also, sometimes the art is for sale by the students, and the students will let you know if that's something that they would entertain as well. And I've got a piece hanging in my office as well from one of our students, and just honored to show that. One more shout out for the arts in CUSD. Here are a few photos from the District Honors Orchestra event that was held last night at the Chandler Center for the Arts. Great job to all the students and staff involved. We have so much talent in CUSD, and we'd like to just showcase a few pictures of the event last night as well.
Those
That was just the one picture? Okay.
There were multiple
You had to be
photos.
there
There were multiple
to
photos on
experience the
slide.
whole thing.
Yeah.
This weekend, CUSD Transportation hosted a Come Drive a Bus event. More than 20 attendees took part. They watched training videos before test driving a bus under the guidance of our amazing transportation team. The purpose of this event was to introduce community members to the possibility of becoming a CUSD bus driver. If you or know of someone who wants to help by driving our future, apply online. We offer paid trainings and benefits, and we pay for the CDL as well. And they're a great group of individuals. I got to participate on Saturday and actually got to drive one of those big buses. It's quite interesting. Our training crew did a good job in a little time to be able to move that bus. Finally, I'd like to give a huge shout out to CUSD Athletics, elementary education, and our schools, our elementary schools, for all the work they put into the district elementary championship track meet, which was held at Perry High School this past Monday evening. It was great to see lots of parents cheering on all kids in the stands. But was even more interesting was that our students congratulating each other was just a sight to see. They'd be on the podium and just congratulating each other when they came off. It was a huge success. Hundreds of elementary kids and a few school mascots laced up their running shoes for this annual event. In the end, CTA Humphrey Elite Performance Academy won the boys' 5th and 6th grade team titles, and Patterson Elementary captured the girls' 5th and 6th grade team championship. Again, a special thank you to the elementary team at all the schools who were there cheering on their kids, and the PE teachers who helped with a unit and track during third quarter. Perry High School administration and the student athlete volunteers that were there, they actually helped work with our young students. And then also our administration and our district athletics department for helping make the event successful. So it takes a lot of people to put on a big event like that. Not many districts will do that, but it was great to see everybody gathered in one place at one time. Maybe it wouldn't be during the Final Four, and maybe it wouldn't be during an eclipse, but we had to move the event because rain washed out the first event. So they did a really good job. So thank you. And that's it.
Thank you, Superintendent Narducci. At this time, we'll turn to citizen comments. This evening, we do have 11 speakers. That allows for 2 minutes for each speaker. And our Associate Superintendent, Wendy Nance, will be assisting with timing. And I'll go ahead and have Mrs. Ingersoll, if you would be so kind as to review our call to the public.
This is the time for the public to comment. Members of the board may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to ARS 38-431.01H, at the conclusion of the open call to the public, individual members of the public body may respond to criticism made by those who have addressed the public body, may ask staff to review a matter, or may ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. However, members of the public body shall not discuss or take legal action on matters raised during an open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action.
Thank you, Mrs. Ingersoll. Our first speaker this evening will be Bin Yuan, who's here to speak on student safety and standard procedures.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to express our disappointment regarding handling my son's injury by ACP High School and the Chandler School District. When my son was hit by the other student and suffered a head injury at school, the principal and the vice principal failed to follow the standard procedure, didn't provide medical assistance, and didn't inform the parents on time. When we expressed our concerns, the vice president even falsely claimed that he have attempted to bring a nurse to see my son, which was denied by the nurse. Furthermore, our concerns about safety at school was completely discarded. Instead of addressing our legitimate worries, the principal presented us only 3 options: return to school without any assurance of safety monitoring, enroll an online school COA, or transfer to another school. When we choose to the COA option, we were blindsided by the school's requirement that we have to withdraw our son first and re-enroll in the COA, and then force him to retake all 6 classes and pass final exams within 40 days. And following my son's concussion, the school refused to provide any necessary academic assistance. Despite our doctor's recommendation, our proposal for 504 plan was rejected, and the school failed to provide any written information about their own plan for concussed students. They also ignored the learning plan suggested by Dr. leaving us unsure if our son was successful to complete the study or not. Moreover, the district lacked effective mechanism for
30
addressing
seconds.
complaints. Our letter to the HR regarding the school principal and vice principal went unanswered, leaving us without even a simple acknowledgement of recipient. So even when faced with evidence of threats against my son, and we submitted the fully form, the school failed to take any action, forcing us to seek protective order from the court. And then they refused to enforce the order and deny our request to accompany our son during the breaks under our team.
Time has expired. Thank you, Mr. Yuan. Thank you. Next, we have Sophia Oyao here to speak on school bullying.
I would say tonight's speaker 2 minutes not enough. I want to add on something. 1 week before my son was attacked for the case, and he actually fighting another case. The principal took the photo, video, and also shot from me, and he said he would do the investigate. He told me he will tell me after he did that, but he didn't until right now. So, Mr. Superintendent, you actually published the paper said zero tolerance and also harassment and bullying. Why this is not for my family? If the teacher had keep eyes on the case for safety, actually the whole essence would have been avoided, and my son could not have received a concussion. That was not enough supervision. The gym is big area as one teacher with 4 corners. Possibly he cannot do by him own. The ratio and the teacher will be 1 with 22. The estimate is 1 teacher with 32 cases. I'm so mad for this. I will show the pictures. This case was attacked in another case. A week ahead, he punched for my son. What the school doing? They got paid, did not do the job, did not keep safety for my child. And also this is from
30 seconds.
TikTok. And he did his bathroom, it is illegal. The principal said, there's nothing wrong for those things. Also for the TikTok, and he posted for public, and he and his friend said, he will punch my son after my son back to the school. What's the safety for the kids from CUSD? And the principal said he didn't know who did that. I have to tell him.
Time has expired.
Would you please bring those up? Do you have copies of them? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Mrs. Oyao. Next, I will call on Ann Adams here to speak on unsafe bathrooms and more.
Governing Board and Mr. Narducci, none of this really surprises me. I know the mission statement of CUSD is for safety and productivity of their students and building on life skills. And for quite some time, I've known through my children and their friends and numerous parents that Bogle, Perry, Hamilton, Bogle is a junior high, has problems in the school bathrooms that are not safe. There are drugs there. There are violence there. There's lack of staff and surveillance in these areas of the school. I will say one school that does do it right that perhaps you should talk to and model is Chief Hill. My son had some significant learning loss, and I was apprehensive to go to the school. But that principal really has his stuff together. They have security in the bathrooms, and they have kids that have probably some behavioral issues there, but they keep everything under control, and you feel like your child is very safe. I don't feel like my child is safe in CUSD, and I can see why now. So definitely need to beef up your security when it comes to bathroom safety, to limit the number of drugs. There's also drugs in the parking lots. The kids will all talk to me, oh yeah, they're everywhere. And oftentimes it's around the lunchtime, and it's just not being addressed, and it's not being taken seriously. I don't know if you have to put staff or security in these bathrooms. I understand a camera might be intrusive, but something
30
needs
seconds.
to change, or you're going to see more of what you just heard from those parents. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Thank you, Mrs. Adams. Next, we'll be hearing from Dr. Patrick Galloway here to speak on bullying.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege for me to address a group of people who care so much about their community. It's a shame that the school board also has to be here. My name is Dr. Patrick Galloway, and before joining Basha High School, I was a science teacher, and I served as a pediatrician before that. My transition from medicine to education was driven by a commitment to the welfare and development of young people, a commitment that I carry with me to this day. However, my time at Basha High School exposed me to a deeply troubling reality, one that compels me to speak out not just as an educator, but as a physician. The culture of bullying, both among students and perpetrated by those in authority, has reached a crisis point. The psychological and emotional toll this takes on our children cannot be overstated. As a professional who has dedicated my life to the well-being of children, it is my considered opinion that the environment within Chandler Unified School District as it stands poses a significant risk to student safety and mental health. The incidents I witnessed and experienced at Basha High School, including a lack of action against harassment and bullying, fabricated charges against those who speak out, and a systematic effort to silence dissent, indicate a systemic problem that extends to the highest levels of the district administration. Such an environment not only undermines the educational mission of our schools, but also inflicts lasting harm on our students.
30 seconds.
Given the gravity of these issues, and with a heavy heart, I advise all parents who hear me tonight to seriously consider removing their children from CUSD schools immediately for their own safety. This recommendation stands until there is a comprehensive change in leadership, including the resignations or removals of every current member of the board, Mr. Narducci, and also Dr. Wendy Nance. This is not a call I make lightly, as educators, administrators, and community...
Time has expired. We'll next hear from Bridget Vega, and I will have to ask everyone if we can refrain from applauding after each speaker so we can move along with the agenda. Thank you.
Hold on, don't start the clock yet. Let's make sure little mic. Good evening. Chandler, you continue to turn a blind eye and want to hold nobody accountable. We must confront the uncomfortable truths within our communities. We cannot turn a blind eye to teen violence nor the struggles our teens face every day. Tonight, I want to shine light on a couple uncomfortable truths that the community is concerned. After months of gathering solutions, it's time for our leaders to rise up and take immediate action. You as leaders have failed to act on creating a safe space for the children. Instead, you guys are giving Horace Mann Ruler Awards to Perry Principal and Associate Superintendent of Human Resources and Community Services. You awarded mandated reporters who failed to protect as a district. You continue to willfully neglect the children. Perry High is goon ground zero. How do they protect the students who reported sexual assault, drug issues, and assaults? They failed Tristan and Rick Keener along with so many other families. Did you guys not read the lawsuits? How many lawsuits are we at, Frank? 100 to 150 million? The sexual assault of the girls at Castile, the one that was settled at Hamilton, the victim of other principals' sons and the goons, and so many others that continue to come to light. We have no future if we don't protect the children. We have a duty to protect the innocent. If not, that blood is on our hands. As a community, as all of you continue to be bystanders and watching Barb and Freight take the heat, but in reality, the silence makes you all complicit. If we can take a moment of silence for all the teens who've been assaulted mentally, physically, sexually, and all the youth who were wrongfully murdered due to senseless acts of violence. We demand justice for the youth, Tristan Keener and Preston Lord. We'll finish the time off with a moment of silence.
Time has expired. Next, we'll call on Luan Vil here to speak on school safety.
Hello, thank you for letting me speak. I live in Sun Lakes, Arizona. I obviously do not have children in the school district, but I live in the community and I'm affected by things that I've heard tonight. I'm affected by students that have not really got the proper education and the learning skills and the environmental skills to function in a good society. And according to your school district mission, it says to provide students with the knowledge, skills, and attitude necessary to excel in college, career, and life. The vision of the Chandler Unified School District is a safe and productive environment where students and adults are engaged in meaningful learning. That does not appear to be happening. I've heard many stories about students who are afraid to use the bathroom. And this is not just in Chandler, it's all around the nation. I've heard it from other schools in other states, and this has got to stop. We have to ensure that our students can go into the bathroom and be safe. Why not keep the drugs out? Have a dog, hire a dog and a security person to check everybody that comes in the school, and they would be able to sniff those drugs out right now. And there's got to be solutions to these problems. And I feel like the board needs to research and see what's happening in other schools that are being effective with their safety concerns. Are there not parent-teacher groups anymore? Topics that affect students can be talked about and solutions discussed. The worst thing that was done was when COVID came to the U.S. and they closed down the schools, churches, and...
Time has expired. Thank you, Mrs. Vil. We're going to move along with our agenda items, please. Next, I have Ronnie Caloi here to speak on teen violence.
I'm short. Can you hear me through the mic?
You're good, Ronnie.
Good evening, Superintendent and Board and members. Thank you all for coming. My name is Ronnie. I live in Chandler, and I've been coming to these meetings for over 2 years. I appreciate the Board and the community's commitment to students and families. Thank you for creating the Teen Violence Advisory Committee. I have applied. I'd like to add some additional recommendations to these meetings as we develop policies and procedures. In my experience over the years in Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and now at Galveston Elementary School, I have seen and listened to elementary school students who are stressed and anxious, who are not observed and who are unnoticed because they have early reactions to violence. I'm here today to present my observations, but I don't have any data to back it up yet. At the very top of the list for elementary school students who are upset is their feeling of loneliness. They have no friends. They say they have no friends, and they say they are lonely. They're excluded from the pairs or groups that are in elementary school that form during the school day and class activities or at recess. They may be embarrassed that they can't keep up with academics. They may be undiagnosed with autism, which leaves them unable to develop social skills. They may lack the language they needed to express themselves and defend themselves. These cliques and groups have ways to tease and exclude the outsiders in elementary school. As the students grow and move on in the school, these groups develop more destructive behaviors.
Time has expired.
They may become gangs. Violence can be a way for them to connect.
Thank you, Mrs. Cavaluzzi. Thank you so much. Next, we have Christine Brennan here to speak on teen violence as well.
The tragic death of Preston Lord and the pervasive issue of organized bullying among our teens have not only devastated families, but have also revealed a deep division within our community. Instead of uniting us in our resolve to address these pressing concerns, they've become sources of discord. For years, parents have courageously brought these issues to the forefront, pleading for change and action from those in positions of power. Yet their voices have fallen on deaf ears, met with resistance and indifference. Why does leadership continue to ignore the heartfelt pleas of parents who only seek to protect their children and foster a safe environment? As leaders, it is incumbent upon you to set the tone and lead by example. Despite reported bullying, harassment, and now murder, our leaders, and to be clear, that is all of you. You continue to refuse to take action. You refuse to listen to the community, you refuse to work together, and you refuse to make any meaningful change to better our community and kids. You must lead with empathy, listen to the concerns of the community, and take decisive action to address the very real issues we face. We cannot afford for you to shrink your responsibility or for you to pass the buck to others. You must engage in open dialogue, fostering collaboration and understanding among all stakeholders. It is not enough to simply look at individuals like myself for solutions. True leadership involves harnessing the collective wisdom and expertise of our entire community. To bridge this gap, we must prioritize proactive measures such as implementing comprehensive anti-bullying policies in our schools, providing resources for mental health support, and promoting empathy and kindness as core values. Please pledge to work together across all divides to ensure that no parent has to endure the pain of losing a child to bullying, and that every young person feels valued, supported, and empowered to thrive. Thank you.
Expired. Thank you, Mrs. Brennan. Next, we have Angela Rogers here to speak on teen violence.
Hello, thank you. In our journey toward creating a nurturing and secure environment for our students, it is imperative that we revisit and strengthen our communication strategies and safety protocols. The urgency to act is now as we stand in a moment that demands not just our attention, but our unified action for the well-being of our children. We propose a commitment to navigating these tough topics by suggesting a subcommittee similar to what Town of Gilbert offered. Chandler Unified School District and those parents interested in further discussion outside of the bi-weekly CUSD meetings can demonstrate our unwavering commitment to the safety and well-being of our students. I do believe we are responsible for empowering our students with the knowledge to make informed decisions, guiding them away from harmful choices towards healthier, safer alternatives. Therefore, this commitment will enable us to identify trends and root causes, bridging the gap between on and off-campus behavior. Understanding these patterns is crucial for implementing effective preventative measures in fostering a safer school environment. Let us be the catalyst for positive change, the guardians of our children's futures. It's not just about making promises, but about proving our commitment to their safety and well-being through tangible, meaningful changes. In conclusion, love needs action, trust needs proof, and sorry needs change. We really would love to sit and collaborate like Town of Gilbert did, so we really hope you take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Rogers. Next, we have Crystal English here to speak on school testing.
Hi, Mr. Narducci, members of the board, Madam Vice President, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Crystal English, and I'm a mom and a community member within the district. I was raised in a Christian home, although really only the kind that goes on Easter and Christmas. My faith has gone through numerous iterations over the years, but ultimately I believe in a loving God, and I believe that Jesus' teaching to love our neighbors as ourselves is the most crucial. That's what I try to live by every day. It's in that vein that I'm here tonight. You may not know, but our Muslim neighbors have been observing Ramadan this past month, ending today. You may also recall that all of our students and our staff were just off on Friday, March 29th, in observance of a Christian holiday, Good Friday. You may now be thinking, I wonder if we recognize any other holy days, like Yom Kippur. It's in October, by the way. We don't. And I'm here to say that I'm not here to say whether that's right or wrong or even feasible. Although I do have friends around the country whose kids were out of their public schools today for Eid, and they will be again for Yom Kippur. But what I do want to point out is that Arizona State testing is scheduled right now. At my daughter's school, they're testing yesterday and today, the most important holiday on the Muslim calendar. I understand that the districts are given a window in which, by the state, to administer those tests, and that we get to choose when that happens. It's still during the month, but it doesn't force them to happen on today, the most important day.
30 seconds.
I know being woke is frowned upon in certain crowds, but I question how this is fair, equitable, or even kind. We may not be able to have our days away from school, and you don't control that necessarily for all religions, but you can accept a policy, create a policy that would limit testing on days that are important to our community members. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. English. Our last speaker for this evening is Brian Burton, here to speak on teen violence as well.
Good evening, everybody. First, I want to start, Vice President, I have not reached out to you yet because Mr. Narducci and I haven't met yet till Friday. I did speak to Mr. Phillips, though. That's kind of also why I'm here. But before I begin on that, I want to read you something that I found. So if it's on the internet, I can find it. This is what I found so far. Walked into the girls' bathroom in the math building, and it smelled so effing bad of weed, bro. Here's a response. It smells like grass or cotton candy in every bathroom at this school. Here's another one. I saw a dude pass out in the bathroom. I think he did too much fentanyl. I hope he's okay. Those are about 15 messages that I found on Instagram. Now, these are groups that you guys probably can't get into, but I was able to. Totally illegally, but they exist. So to say there's not a problem, you guys are wrong. That's from students, besides all these parents here. When I spoke to Mr. Phillips, he kept on insinuating he abided by the policy. And he also kept on insinuating and telling me that if I don't want him to speak to him or anyone for my children, that my children should be the ones to be saying that to them. Now, courts have already done enough investigation to know that you don't put a child in between two parents. It's not their job, it's ours. Also, according to the JLFRB, it says to ensure the appropriate and most qualified professionals conduct the investigation. Now, that statement goes back to the last meeting
30
where you
seconds.
talked about investigating yourselves. You can't investigate yourselves because you have an interest in freeing whatever information's there. That's clearly against that rule. Now, I have many more rules, but since we don't have a lot of time, I want to skip to something that I found. There's something called the Office of Civil Rights that publishes how many actual cases are under investigation. This is not under investigation by the schools, but by the civil rights. Did you guys know that
Time
Chandler
has
School
expired. Mr. Burton, I will ask if you could follow up with us after the meeting for the remainder of that information, please. We will move on with our agenda this evening, everyone.
I've got a point of information. Quick point of information about citizens' comments. We can't have back and forth interactions because of the rules that Ms. Ingersoll read before the meeting, but the teen violence advisory that Frank mentioned during his update, it's not for teens only, it's for everybody, and I actually signed up for it just now. It's for all the community members, parents, and anybody that wants to actually have a back and forth conversation about coming up with ideas. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Board Member Worth. And yes, thank you to everybody participating in our call to the public this evening with your comments, input, and personal testimonies. We do take them serious and into consideration. We will be moving to our consent agenda, Section 7 of this evening's agenda next. Mr. Narducci.
Thank you, Madam Vice President and governing board members. I present the consent agenda for your approval as printed and as published.
And may I get a motion to approve our consent agenda as presented and published?
Madam Vice President, I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as published.
Second? Thank you. Thank you, Board Member Worth. And we'll take a vote now. All those in favor of approving our consent agenda as presented, please say aye.
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 Aye. And we could hear you. Thank you so much. The motion carries unanimously. And next, we're moving to our one action item for this evening's agenda. That is a contract increase for mental health services. And before we entertain any discussion, I will ask for a motion on the table to approve an additional $175,000 increase to total an amount of $475,000 for the remainder of our 2023-24 school year.
Madam Vice President, I would like to make a motion to approve a contract increase for our mental health services to the total of $475 for the remainder of the 23-24 school year.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so we can now open up to any discussion related to this item. Board Member Marsden and Roars, please let us know if you have any questions at this time related to this item.
Yes, I do.
Go on, Mr. Roars.
Yes. I had several questions, which we did get answers to, and I'd like to read them into the record for the information for the public. My question was, first question was, what was a planned student caseload on the original contract? The answer was a clinician's maximum caseload is 24 cases per week. The number is similar to agencies such as Southwest Behavioral Health. And then the follow-up question, what has been the actual student caseload as required this contract increase? The increased funding is not so much about caseload size, about cost of services. We are still covering the cost of therapy for students as THI, which is the Hope Institute, works to solidify contacts with insurance agencies. As of this last week, THI has contracts with Aetna, Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Optum. We've been waiting on United Healthcare and Access. Access is the last huge piece to move forward. The moratorium they had set expires on June 8th. Once they have Access contract, THI will be self-sustaining, so we will be out of this contract. THI has started receiving 1 to 2 referrals a day in the last few weeks. This time of year in 2022-23, we lost 3 students to suicide in 11 days, and possibly a 4th within April and May. All student cases related to suicide prevention, and there's a lot of confusion on this. THI is an outpatient clinic that only provides therapy for those with thoughts of suicide. After an individual has been stabilized, the clinician can refer them to ongoing or long-term counseling if needed. Next question was, what other cases are being handled? The only cases that are referred to THI and their clinicians provide therapeutic service are for individuals with thoughts of suicide ideation. THI clinicians are equipped to provide families with recommendations for additional supports to address needs outside of suicidality. Last question is, what has been the documented parent feedback for these services? The answer is we've been very cautious and cognizant of the family's right to privacy. They are navigating one of the scariest crises alone. The clinicians who work in these cases have had parents who have commented they are very glad that there was help immediately for their child. Over 120 critical cases have been worked through during this critical point in time. parents are choosing the services. Additionally, more parents want to know more about the Hope Institute as they feel it needs to be more information as we qualify for additional service options. The whole goal is to provide seed funding and move this to a sustainable option, which we're now showing great progress towards. Even with the increased request, we're only a fraction of the funding we put aside for the mental health crises which still exist for many students across the state and the nation. The related question to me is, what if this option did not exist? What would the landscape look like for students and families in need? So with that, I think my questions were answered. I just want to make sure that the public understands that this is just for suicide prevention, and also that the public understands this is on the Perry High School campus. It's in the parking lot on some outbuildings we have there, and they share some space with the Chandler Education Foundation. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Roars. Any other comments?
I did not have any questions. I didn't have any questions or anything.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Marsden. Any other points of clarification from other board members?
I have a question.
Sure, Mr. Worth.
Is this funding any of it federal funds?
This funding comes from the ESSER funding that was sent and given to schools as it relates to student wellness and mental health, which is why we utilize that in order to do this.
Okay, thank you.
If you can recall, there was some discretionary grants that were good for 1 year. We utilized those dollars and moved regular M&O expenditures into that grant to maximize that grant for a year, and then we could set aside the money that we received for that to be able to use it for multiple years, and so that's how we set that initiative up, so we didn't have to spend all of it at one time. We were able to utilize it for 3 to 5 years, depending on how long we have the services.
We felt we'd have a better plan over multiple years than trying to cram everything into a year.
And President Serrano, the call to action came a few years back out of the COVID crisis when we just saw a struggle. And that one question, and I want to thank Natasha Davis for doing a wonderful job in supplying some of the information there. But we were looking at some national solutions because this is a situation, just as other situations we're talking about, that are national problems. And we were able to look at the best research that was out there and look at the need. That southeast corridor of our district has very limited resources. And so we were able to bring clinicians in with Dr. Job and with the Hope Institute and using latest research on suicide ideation, de-escalating. And so many of our families, that's their first option to go to. And these clinicians that are housed at the house there off of Perry actually stick with the families for longer periods of time, all the way through a transition back into, the whole goal is not to isolate our students, but to keep them accommodated and to keep them under clinician care during the transition back, and they stay with them through schools as well. So it was a big move that we made to assist with mental health, besides the additional programmings we brought into all of our schools, as well as increasing our social workers and counselors, which we took proactive measures on as well.
Thank you, Superintendent Narducci. And yes, the Hope Institute is a physical manifestation, I believe, of our commitment to supporting our students' mental health. We had learned previously people who had acute symptoms had to wait days, weeks at times to get services outside. So whereas we are not a primary source, we're able to accommodate people who need acute care in the immediate. So definitely a fantastic investment that we continue to support and are looking to hold sustainable. So with that discussion had, I will ask for a vote from our board. All those in favor of approving an additional $175,000 to increase the total amount of $475,000 for the remainder of our 2023 through 2024 school year, please say aye.
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 The motion carries unanimously. This brings us to our final information items. We have student activity, auxiliary operations, and tax credit reports for the months ending in July 2023 through March 2024 provided for review. You will also see in our agenda docket our strategic plan and CUSD Journey to Excellence also available, and we had education on that earlier tonight in our study session. If you missed this evening's study session, please know that you're able to access this from home at your convenience to review where we're at with our Journey to Excellence. Our CUSD Board Agenda Roadmap is also available for you to review. And you'll see that we have a board planning session this Friday, April 12th, amongst our board. Our next board meeting is scheduled for April 24th, and we'll be having a board retreat that will take place in about a month on May 10th. And I will now entertain and check in with our board members on any current events if you have any to share. Let's start with you, Member Olive.
Nothing new from me.
Board Member Worth, anything to share?
No, I do not.
Board Member Marsden, if you could hear me, we are at our current board member events if you have any to share.
Nothing at this time, thank you.
And Board Member Roars.
Just two. March 28th, I attended the career fair sponsored by ASU. It was over at Chandler High School, and this is open to juniors that are about to head into their senior year. The only comment that we had in discussing some of the participants there is that maybe the junior year is way too late, and we should probably push this up more towards probably freshman or maybe even in junior high school. Because as we put our career pathways in place, and I think the district's doing an excellent job of doing that, that starts much earlier. And I think the junior year is way too late to start talking to kids about careers. On April 3rd, I was over at Carlson Elementary. The Sun Lakes Rotary Club sponsors a technical project. It's called Gravity Cruisers. They buy kits for the kids, they're sixth graders, and we started to help them put those kits together as they start to figure out in this engineering project and overcome some of the difficulties they will putting these things together and making them work. So that was a lot of fun. That is all.
Thank you, Board Member Roars. And I'll just end with some news for people who may not be in the know. I am particularly thrilled to share that CUSD is welcoming a new head coach to our wrestling family with the hiring of Anthony Robles and staff who will be joining us. Coach Robles is one of the most accomplished wrestlers in Arizona history, comes with an impressive resume. He's a former state and national champion, so I just want to extend a warm welcome to Coach Robles and staff. We look forward to his leadership in helping develop our student athletes. And as with all of our students' extracurricular activities, we know that community and family support is key. So I encourage all of us to continue to show up in support of our students, our coaches, our staff, and advisors, all that we can. And another point of news that is very fresh, hot off the press, I believe, is that we are excited to share that effective immediately, this goes into effect tomorrow, April 11th, students at the following schools, that's Fry Elementary, San Marcos Elementary, Galveston Elementary, and Hartford Sylvia Encinas Elementary, will now be receiving one free breakfast and one free lunch meal every school day at no charge. So we have these 4 elementary schools that have now qualified for funding that we applied for, and they now have free school meals. I would love to see that expanded with federal funds, but it's a start. So I want to make sure that if we have any people in our community that we know of with students at these schools, that they're aware of this option being available tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with me on my first meeting as chair. I appreciate everybody's time and participation. And if you weren't able to complete your thoughts in tonight's comments, feel free to approach any of us after the meeting. And with that, I think we will adjourn. Thank you.